instant knowing a couple of weeks ago that there's a lovely female who visits my farm sometimes, and she hadn't been around for a couple of months. And I was here, I noticed a couple of weeks ago, my dog does a funny bark when they are here, and then all of a sudden I got a flash of image of her face in my mind, and I thought, yeah, she's here. I know she's here. And then I got, a few days ago, I actually had a really special moment where I was meditating, and I had the mind speak thing really flowing, and I was talking to multiple of them, and I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. This is really cool. I can do it. And the next day I find a marble outside on the ground. That's not our marble. There's only my husband and I out here. There's nowhere else a marble could come from. And I know she left it there for me as a gift.
Welcome to Kite Paranormal. My name is Dolly Adamson, and on this episode I'll be chatting to Sarah Bignall, who runs a podcast called Yowie Central. And her interview is the most fascinating interview I've done so far. She is an incredible girl, an advocate for our big hairy friends, and has interviewed hundreds of people who have had Yowie experiences over the 6 years she has been doing her podcast. She also talks about George, her spirit, that looks after her, along with other interdimensional beings. I spoke to Sarah 5 years ago on her podcast, Yowie Central, and now I'm so excited to have her on mine. What an amazing girl with incredible stories. Happy listening, and hi to all the Yowies out there that are listening as well. Hello, Sarah. You're sounding great.
It's so lovely to talk to you again.
I know we connected 5 years ago, but tell me how, it's not about us, tell me how long your little Yowie Central has been going for.
So I started that as a little local radio station on Main FM in Castlemaine in September 2019. So now we're in March 2025. And so in September it'll be 6 years. And I think I've interviewed several hundred people now.
And you interview people with their Yowie sightings, is that right?
Mainly my show is about reporting sightings, what people are seeing out there. It's not just Yowies too. We also go into other weird cryptid beings and the paranormal and UFOs and non-human intelligence and all those sorts of things as well. It's mainly Yowies because that's what I'm most obsessed with. Sprinkling of other paranormal things in there as well.
Okay, so we were just quickly chatting and you said they're like as common as spirits. They're everywhere. They're all over you. They're inside your house. They're looking at you. They're watching you, but you can't see them because they're interdimensional.
Exactly. What I have discovered over the last 6 years is that they are interdimensional beings. They have the ability to raise their electromagnetic frequency to such a point where they disappear from human view. It doesn't mean they're not there. It just means our eyes can't see them.
Okay, but can we feel them? Like a lot of people can't see spirits either, but they can feel them. Is it the same kind of thing?
Same thing. Yeah, really, really the same thing. They describe being able to, people report being able to find little gifts and things that are moved around their houses. There's a guy over in the States called Mike Carroll, and he talks about finding, and Brian Bland, they both talk about finding gifts in their house all the time.
Gifts? That's nice.
Yeah. And a man I interviewed, a lovely man, he's a shaman over in Canada called Sunbo True Brother. He wrote an amazing series of books called The Sasquatch Message to Humanity. And he told me a story of hearing a great ruckus going on outside his house. So we went running outside the house to see what was going on, turn around, look back, and there's a Sasquatch in his window inside the house.
So he saw it?
He saw it. He has quite an incredible ability to communicate with them telepathically.
Okay.
And so he has a very close connection with him. And those books that he wrote was actually a channel's message from them.
They downloaded all their messages to him while he was sleeping, something like that, and he wrote a book about them.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
So he's the medium for Yowies.
Well, yeah, they're reaching out to people all over the place to do that. So he's not the only one. There's quite a few people in the States that I'm aware of and here in Australia where they're reaching out to people and communicating.
What do they want, Sarah? Do they want our babies? Do they want our
No, no.
dogs?
And this is
What do they want?
this is unfortunately what we've done is we've painted them like monsters.
Yeah.
And like the Hollywood scary monster, and they're not. What they want is for human beings to rediscover those gifts that they have. So the telepathy gift, the ability to, all the clairs, all the clairvoyance, all the clairsentience, clairaudience, all of those abilities, all those psychic abilities, they want to help us rediscover those abilities. We all have them. We were just caused some time ago to forget that we could all do that.
We'll blame the dinosaurs, darling. They've stuffed everything up.
It's all the dinosaurs' fault.
Yeah.
They're reaching out to people all over the world.
So just because they're big and ugly and hairy doesn't mean that they're scary. I mean, there's plenty of those kind of looking things on, the latest episode of Maths, let's face it, darling. So
yeah. I'm so glad I don't have a TV anymore.
Really? Oh, you live in Castlemaine. Yeah, that's right. You guys don't, you live in your little huts. You chant in the backyard.
I'm up at my farm most of the time these days, and that's even more in the boondocks than in Castlemaine.
All right, Sarah, have you seen one? Has Castlemaine got some yowies or what?
I haven't seen them with my two eyes.
Bloody hell, you've done how many interviews?
I know.
Why aren't they connecting with you, Sarah? I mean, you're giving them a good run. You're giving them the radio, the signals, everything's out there. You've gone global.
I know. So it's one of my frustrations, and I've asked them quite a few times, when are you going to show yourselves to me? And they keep saying, well, Sarah, we usually only show ourselves to people to give them a spiritual awakening. You don't need one. You're already there.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, yeah, but that's not fair.
No, it's not fair at all. Okay,
So
spiritual. It's like spirit. They will manifest only if they feel it's suitable for the person concerned.
Yeah. And I've been told that they will show themselves to me when the chance of me shitting my pants is a bit less. I've got to work through the fear factor, which everyone goes through. I've got to try and work on that before they will show themselves to me because they don't want to scare me.
Oh, I think you'd be okay with it, darling. I think you'd be fine seeing Yowie in your kitchen.
Yeah, I think I would be too.
So do you feel them? What's going on?
Yes, I do feel them. I know when they're here. I have them here on the farm.
Are they on the phone now? Is someone talking to us on the phone?
They're probably listening.
Hello,
right
Yowies. Love you.
Hello, love you, Yowie.
Love you, Yowie.
I knew I had this instant knowing a couple of weeks ago that there's a lovely female who visits my farm sometimes, and she hadn't been around for a couple of months. And I was here. I noticed a couple of weeks ago. My dog does a funny bark when they are here, and then all of a sudden I got a flash of image of her face in my mind, and I thought, yeah, she's here. I know she's here. And then I got a few days ago, I actually had a really special moment where I was meditating, and I had the mind speak thing really flowing, and I was talking to multiple of them, and I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. This is really cool. I can do it. And the next day I find a marble outside on the ground. It's not our marble. There's only my husband and I out here. There's nowhere else the marble could come from. And I know she left it there for me as a gift.
Oh.
To say, well done, encouragement. Well done.
Wow, that's amazing. So they're lovely little gift bearers. I had no idea.
Yeah,
if they like you. What if they don't like
Yep.
you? I mean, I've heard of the Yowie attacks. Are there bad Yowies that, can rip your head off and all that? Maybe they're provoked.
Absolutely.
Maybe they're provoked.
I think some of them are rogue, and some of them don't have a clan for whatever reason. Some of them have had bad experiences with human beings and therefore carry anger and resentment and are dangerous to humans. But the vast majority, from what I know now, and having interviewed several hundred people now, most people, if they have a scary experience, it's because, one, they are either doing the wrong thing, so they're using chainsaws, they're chopping shit down, leaving rubbish, whatever, out in the bush, or they'd strayed into an area where the Yowies didn't want them. And that was either because their children are there or they're busy giving birth or they're hunting or you're just in an area that they don't want you, and that's when you might have a scary experience. But they don't attack people generally. Like we would have way more missing people if that was a thing.
All right. So are they vegetarian?
I think they're omnivores.
Bit of everything?
So they eat meat. They've been seen eating meat. They've been seen eating roos, picking up roadkill. One guy reported to me seeing a yowie carrying a huge, fully grown wild boar slung over his shoulder. Taken reports of people seeing them picking up roadkill on the side of the road like a dead kangaroo. That happened in the Pilliga State Forest up in New South Wales.
Are they intelligent?
Highly intelligent. Okay. They're just like us. They're
a hairy form of us, really.
A hairy form of us. Some of them are smarter than others. They have abilities that we don't have, that we used to have, but we've forgotten how to use. And in some ways, we are more primitive than them.
Oh, of course. Well, that's for certain. That goes without saying.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? But human beings in general like to place themselves above all other animals and creatures on the whole.
Oh, how idiotic is that, right?
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Hi, it's Sarah from Yowie Central. Dolly is my paranormal pal and she is dying for you all to listen to my podcast because it's a howler.
So, look, apparently the first sightings were back in 1790, but did they exist before then?
They were definitely here before white man got here. Some of the stories were of original Australian women being carried off and kidnapped and children being kidnapped, and I think that might have happened in the past at some stage.
Lindy Chamberlain, darling, Lindy Chamberlain.
Yeah. Was it a dingo or
was it a dingo? Was it a yowie?
I don't think it was my hairy friend. I don't think it was there.
No, they don't eat babies, do they? Why would they want to do that?
They don't eat babies. No.
Okay, so they're like a higher version of what we used to be, perhaps.
Various different people have channeled similar information. They were here before humans were here. They were seeded here by an alien race using a base of an ancient lemur-type ape that was already here on this planet. Then they were here for eons before human beings were seeded here. I know that's probably a little bit controversial. Oh. God didn't invent us, and God didn't put us here, and He didn't put the Yowies here either. It was E.T.
E.T., the aliens did it.
So humans are a mix of Yowie and E.T. and another ancient type ape that existed then. So we're brothers and sisters. We're cousins.
All right. So are we wiping them out with the wiping out of forests and bushland?
Yes.
And
Yeah, it's awful. And we've had them contact us in great distress to ask for help to stop logging in certain areas or, there's up near Coffs Harbour, there's a new road they're building and they're dynamiting through mountains and building tunnels, and we've had them reach out to us in distress saying they're smashed through a ley line, this is sacred ground. And it's not just the Yowies that are unhappy about that. There's all the elemental beings and all the other beings that exist are all really unhappy with humans because we're just trashing a joint. Really.
Well, Queensland just like to rub concrete over all of its land, let's face it, darling. And then wonder why it gets flooded.
This is New South Wales.
Oh, New South Wales, the whole bit. Yeah, just concrete it all. Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah. Exactly. We've really lost the plot when it comes to looking after our planet, looking after ourselves and looking after our
I'm feeling a political party coming on, a Yowie Central political party, Sarah. Hey?
Can you imagine?
Well, it'd be much better than, what is it, fucking arms and fishes or whatever else.
All the other crappy. They're all terrible, really. No, there's not a single one.
So we need you to defend the political side of the Yowies.
Yeah, that's right.
Please, Sarah. I'll vote for you. Bloody vote for you. So they're really common and they're in another dimension. And are they only on land? They're not in the water?
No, there's different beings that are in the water.
Oh, really?
Yowies can swim.
Okay.
But they can hold their breath for a long time. But they've been spotted. Actually, one was spotted swimming straight across the Murray River. Now, if you've been to the Murray River, you know how strong that current is. This yowie was able to swim directly straight across to the other bank, was observed doing that. So they can certainly swim, but water isn't their natural environment.
So they're really still hard to capture on camera, or is there a lot of footage of yowies being caught on camera now? Because I know spirits are still really hard.
Yeah,
dodge
yowies
the
are
lens.
the same.
Yeah, okay.
Yowies are the same because of that. Because their electromagnetic frequency is much higher than ours, and that causes kind of a light refraction. That's why every picture of them is blurry. That's why no one gets them on camera, because that one, they don't want to be on camera, and two, their frequency prevents clear photos of them unless they deliberately choose to lower their frequency enough so that you can get a good.
Are they deliberately looking like us, or perhaps they look like something else?
Are they deliberately looking like
I mean,
us?
like big hairy people. Or do they can they change the way they look?
Oh, okay, as in shape-shifting.
Yeah, like spirits can do that, can't they? They can look scary, or, well, the negative ones can look like kids or...
Yeah. That's a really good question. I'm not sure of the answer, to be honest. I know they can materialise and dematerialise, but I'm not sure if they can shape-shift into a different shape, just your standard yowie being. There might be other beings that obviously that can. There are other beings that can.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about that.
So what's their predators besides man?
Man is a big one. I mean, I've heard stories of there being, conflict between the lichens, the dogman kind of creature, and yowies. But then I've heard other stories where they get along quite well.
Are the clans hating each other or fighting over land?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there is. I've heard of that. And I've heard of some clans knowing how to materialise and dematerialise better than others. Some don't have the skill. It's a learnt skill. It needs to be taught. So their babies can't do it. And that could also be one of the reasons why you might get chased out of a particular area, is if there are young ones there who can't disappear yet. One of the reasons why, I'll just go back to the photos for a second, because this was shared with us fairly recently too. One of the reasons they don't like being on camera, either recorded audio recording or film recording, is because that then whoever looks at that picture is then connected etherically on the astral plane with the subject of that photo or that video. And they can feel thoughts and the emotions and even of the person who's looking at them and watching them. So can you imagine if accidentally
Herald Sun front page.
Well, somewhat, yeah, exactly. Imagine all the
awful.
And so that poor being has to then cop all the horrible people who have nasty, aggressive thoughts, and because there's a lot of
non-believers,
like that.
Yeah,
non-believers, just all the shit people that are out there. They're copying everyone's energy. I feel really sorry for the Patty, the female Sasquatch that was captured in that very famous Patterson-Gimlin footage from the United States that was captured in the early 70s in California. I feel really sorry for her because she would have had a really rough time. She's had millions and millions of people around the world looking at her, and that would have been really, really hard.
Yeah. How long do they live for? Like, is she still living? Is she still going through the agony of that? That's what I'm thinking of,
I'm not sure about her. They can live to a couple of thousand years old.
Really?
Yeah. They can. Some of them can be really, really ancient.
How awful for them.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, there's also, once their physical bodies die, their soul is still around.
Okay,
we have a Yowie who's been in contact. Well, actually, I'm going to call him Doolagal because he doesn't like the word Yowie. His physical body, he passed away a few months ago, but we still see him. We still see him on the astral. Like we still talk to him, and he still comes and visits. So they might, while their bodies might die after however long, their spirits are still there.
Okay, now what if they get injured
like
that? Are they able to repair themselves, or what's going on?
They have incredible healing skills.
All right.
And I'm going to share with you a personal thing.
Go on then.
I've got a really bad back. I've got scoliosis and constant pain in it. And to top it all off, in the last 6 months or so, I was getting really, really bad neck pain, and it's caused by compressed discs in my neck from looking down too much. I've been reading and working on a computer too much in my life, and my neck was in agony pretty much all the time. I asked my female friend who's here on the farm 2-3 weeks ago now, I asked if she could do anything to help the pain in my neck because it was just driving into distraction. I virtually have no pain in my neck now.
So she came and put her hands, her healing hands on your neck?
So, yeah, they say that compressed discs, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't repair them. You just have to manage the pain somehow. That's what the chiropractor told me. I've got no pain in my neck after asking for help for healing.
That's amazing.
It's just blown me away. Yeah.
So did you feel what did you do? Did you lie down? What did you do, Sarah, to engage and then, go through the healing? How long to go for? How much did it cost?
They helped me out because I'm doing work for them.
Of course,
and basically for the podcast, what I'm doing for them is helping the wider community and understanding of who these beings are, and that they're not monsters, they're beautiful people and they're loving beings, and I'm trying to change that narrative and help them connect with humans more. All that work I do for them, and so that every now and then I do things for me like that. And it's not the first time. I've had something else healed in the past as well. This time I wasn't aware of, she was working on me overnight. I wasn't aware of the healing happening. I just realised a couple of weeks later, and I was like, oh my God, my neck's not sore anymore.
It feels so much better, yeah.
Yeah, but on other occasions I have felt them working on me, and I felt kind of warm and tingly and euphoric, and I can feel when they've got their hands on me, like the Yowie who first contacted me a few years ago, 3 years ago now, 2 or 3 years ago. I can often feel a big warm hand on my back. I asked him for help some time ago, and I could feel him, and there were actually 3 of them, three big males. One of them, my Yowie, I've given him the nickname Donnie Doolittle. I never use their real names in public. Again, it's that energy thing. They don't want people to know what their real names are. Yeah. The other guy I've nicknamed the Ambassador, and then the other guy is called Big Red. He's based up on the Gold Coast, hinterland. And all 3 of them on the astral plane were with me, and it was like I was lying down on the ground and they were all looking down at me. And I laughed because I said, if this was in real life, I'd probably shit my pants. And they were all laughing, going, yeah, you probably would.
Yowie Reiki, darling.
Yeah, it was. It was Yowie Reiki. That's exactly what it was, Dolly. And they're really amazing. I've got quite a few friends now who have this same connection with them, and they report the same kinds of healings and the same kind of work. So they do have remarkable abilities to heal physical ailments.
Lovely. And are they protectors?
Yes, they're protective of me, and they remind me quite a lot that they've got my back all the time. And doing this work, sometimes and running a Facebook group and a forum for people, I often have to deal with trolls, and they don't last very long in my group, and I boot them out. So what happens is then there's a little group of disgruntled people who didn't like the fact that I called them out on their behaviour and chucked them out of my group. So those people can send negative energy out when they're angry with you. They're unconsciously sending barbs at you. And I have been told multiple times that I've got Yowies and 2 Junjadis, which are the little hairy fellas, here on the farm watching my back to protect me from that sort of shit.
Can you send a couple my way too, darling?
Well, from the sound of it, you need some protection,
my darling.
I do.
I'm getting attacked by spirits. I'm getting attacked by the living. I'm just trying to put my head down and, be nice and be helping people out and helping spirits out, but do I get spiritually attacked and do I get attacked by other mediums and shit like that? So
yeah. I know exactly what you mean. There's things I won't mention on air right now.
Right. Yeah, that's another podcast in itself, isn't it, darling?
Yeah, it is. But I will, when we finish, I reckon you should go and have a session with my friend Daryl the shaman.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
Who will be able to help you with that protection.
With the spiritual attacks from the living and the dead?
Yeah, but I think you should have a session with him and he'll be able to give you some advice. And you might even find you get some Yowie friends turning up to that session.
I think I'd
to
like
help
that.
out.
If you're hearing Yowies, I'd really love that.
Do you know how cool it is, though, when you think, I've got a Yowie as a bodyguard.
Oh, mate.
Not just one. It's pretty bloody cool, I can tell you that.
I think it's pretty cool having a great-grandfather as a the soldier, and he's on post, but wow, having a Yowie as well. Hey, can the spirits see the Yowies? Are they kind of on the same dimension or not?
I think some of them are, yeah.
I think they can see the interdimensional, like we got it removed from a hospital and the spirits could see that.
Yeah, right.
And it was from another dimension.
I think if the spirits are on the astral plane, then the Yowies can see them, for sure, and probably vice versa. I've had a spirit in my house in Castlemaine, actually. This was really cool.
Yeah.
I'd noticed once or twice, not much in the 12 years that I've been in that house, that, once my dog crawled into my lap, shaking, staring fixedly at my bedroom doorway. Yeah. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't feel anything. And this was before I'd started developing these skills and had Yowie contact. But I just noticed he was shitting himself about something that I couldn't see. I was down in my house a few times by myself. The dogs and my husband were up at the farm, and I kept hearing what sounded like someone creaking the floorboards in the house, and there's no one there. And I was getting a little bit alarmed. I didn't have a lot of experience with spirits then, and I was a bit scared. I was on the phone on Skype with my little group of my Yowie Central team, and they're all psychics, mediums, and a shaman. And so I was telling them about this, and I was down at that house, and all of them said, "Oh yeah, we can see him. He's just behind you." And I'm like, "What? Fuck.
Get rid of him."
Yeah. No, well, see, it turns out he's a good guy. He's a good spirit, and he's protecting me. He's there as a protective spirit. His name's George.
Hello,
and the funny
George.
thing was, I said, "What's his name?" And then before they could answer, the name George came into my head. And then all four of them said George at the same time. So it turns out, and another friend of mine had stayed in my house before that, and he told me that he'd seen a ghost. And I'm like, oh, okay. He's wearing a long, old-fashioned oilskin riding coat and an old hat. And we think he's from the gold rush time.
Bit of a bushranger.
Something like that.
Sounds pretty cool.
He is cool. He's there to watch my back. I've asked him not to creak the floorboards anymore because it scares me, and so he's stopped doing that. But I know he's there sometimes. I can feel him. I can feel him there. And then we're sold that house, and we're about to get all of our stuff out of it. And I mentioned to my friend Karen, the psychic, I said, "What am I going to do about George? Like, I feel like I need to tell him that we're selling the house." And Karen said, "Oh, I'm just connecting with him now. Yeah, he knows.
He already knows,
selling the house. He knows, but he's going to come with you."
Yeah. Get in the car. Get in the car, George.
Get in the car. Yeah, get in the car. So George is going to come with me wherever I go. He's going to leave that house, and he's watching my back.
So is he from the house, or is he an ancestor or spirit guide?
Not sure. I don't think he's from the house.
You think he's just from the area,
wasn't
maybe?
There long. I don't know enough about him other than his name's George, and he's really cool because he's a good ghost and he's watching my back.
Oh, there's plenty of good ones out there, darling. Yeah, fighting the battle.
Well, I didn't know much about that. All that I knew was that ghosts scared the crap out of me, and I didn't know much about it. This was a few years ago now. Now I know a lot more about what's out there. I know that they're not all scary now. You've had an amazing few years, haven't you?
It's been a learning experience, darling. That's for sure.
It would have been. It would have been.
Every time I do it, I go, why am I doing this? This is, as Barbara Streisand would say, yental mental, hey?
Have you had scary nights
disgusting.
where you think, oh, shit.
Yeah, disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Verging on demonic, I'm not allowed to say that word, right? Because I hear.
Yeah. One thing you can do is visualize all of your equipment, because they can use the equipment as well. Visualize your equipment wrapped in gold, a protective gold wrapping around your computer, around your recording equipment, around your devices, and that can stop them using the tech as portal.
Yeah, which they do. I find even the podcast is stirring things up, okay, just talking about them.
They do. They do. There's some people out there who carry a lot of jealousy and a lot of anger and hatred in their heart, and they don't think twice about lashing out at other people. That's why you got to be protected.
Well, I do try and visualise that thing. There's not a visual bone in my body, darling. So I'm pretty hopeless. Practice. Yeah. You reckon?
I do it. I was taught how to clear my space and realign my hara line a few years ago. And I do it when I started doing it every single night without fail, no matter what's going on, even if I've been out and had a few drinks, I always clear my space every night. And I might even do it once or twice during the day, but without fail every night. Line, which is like an axle that you have that all your chakras are connected to. Most people aren't aware of that hara line. It's remarkable when you realign that, how all of a sudden you're in a much better mood. And that Daryl the shaman taught me that. So being disciplined, doing it every night without fail, even if you don't feel like it.
Yeah, because often
it takes a couple of minutes. Yeah,
come home and collapse and go to bed and I don't do anything, and then the whole night is a shit show.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, mate, you really got to get some protection happening for sure.
Oh, yeah, and you feel it. Like the other day I was spiritually attacked on the tour, and then and my daughter came along, and she's really got medium abilities, and she's quite a healer actually. I think the Yowies would really like her. She's helped cross over quite a few children and Aboriginals, and the Yowies would love her. So she came along the tour as well, and we pushed back this thing. It has attacked me a couple of times. Let's just call it a C, okay? Let's call it a C. And we pushed it back, and I got the whole group to get all their ancestors to push it back. And then, of course, it followed me home.
Yeah.
It followed me home, and then my daughter was woken up. At 3 o'clock. No, she wasn't woken up because she's still watching supernatural episodes at 3 o'clock in the morning. But she rang me at 3 and said, you've got to come over here. There's someone scratching my door, thumping my front door, and she was terrified. So I went over with the big torch and looked around. Of course, there was nobody, and she was spiritually attacked. And then my beautiful friend, and then that next morning I was zapped, like I was just collapsed. You had to have a little nap. I was just couldn't put a smile on my face, absolutely exhausted, like what they say, dead tired, darling. I think there's a great significance to that.
That's right.
And I just knew it was a spiritual attack as well. Then anyway, the next day or so, my medium came over, and, there was this thing inside the bungalow. So, I do need to look up Karen and the shaman and have a chat to them about how to because I say to my listeners, and the people that come along, you have to be very careful and blah, blah, blah. But I'm not a medium. The more and more connections I make with a venue, like the more I go back to connect with the positive spirits, the more the negative ones try and stop it.
Yeah, right.
So I do have a big spiritual family, and they're gorgeous, and they follow me from venue to venue.
I love that.
And they go, oh, Daisy's here, or Adelaide, or, and they say all the names. They go, oh, hello, darling. And people look at me and think I'm mad because I just recite all these. Oh, that's from the Bishop's Palace, and that's from the Lansfield Guest House, and that's, Audrey, the librarian from the Elmore Hall. And I say hello to them all, and they think I'm mad. But then the negative ones, because I've made those constant connections, are always attacking me. So big target on my head. I need some yowies.
I hear you.
Need some yowies,
Yeah,
please.
you need some yowies, and you need some see, the ones you need are the little fellas, the Junjadee.
Okay, Junjadee.
So
is that an Aboriginal name?
They eat demons for breakfast.
Oh, I want one. I want to adopt one,
That's
please.
their thing. I've got two. I do feel spiritually attacked sometimes. If I'm feeling like I am, I say, my doula girlfriends, I really need some help. I'm getting attacked. Then I see like the outline of multiple doula girls all gathering around me and shuffling closer and closer, like protective barrier. And then I see my two little Junjadee friends, like two brown whirlwinds. You know that cartoon of the Tasmanian devil?
Yeah.
And it spins around like that. Yeah. So I can see them both like spinning like balls of energy, and they run around and get all the demons.
Oh, love them.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they love doing.
What are they called? Junjadees?
Yeah, they've got lots of different Aboriginal names. So there's Junjadee, there's Ginjari, there's Brown Jack, there's the little fella is quite common. And they're a different kind of being. They're not yowie. They're much smaller. They're bipedal and hairy, and they look similar, but they're quite different beings. I've actually spoken to, on my show, I interviewed a guy, it was a few years ago now, and he had a Junjadee friend who helped him hunt demons down. And that was what they used to do in his spare time. Is he and his mate Brownie was the name of this little Junjadee. Brownie and he used to go and help people and clear spaces and help people get rid of those awful bad spirits.
So do the shamans work with the yowies to clear spaces?
Well, I don't know about other shamans, but my friend the shaman does, because he's got yowie friends.
That's
so
Daryl. I'm looking up Daryl. Yeah.
Yeah, he has yowie bodyguards often in some of the work. He does a lot of exorcism work. He does a lot of removing those sorts of bad spirits, those demonic entities and other beings like that, negative ET beings as well, you know, the reptilians and some of those nasty creatures. So a lot of the healing work that he does is removing attachments, removing demons, and removing ET tech. And that's part of the thing he does. So
and that's working with.
Well, it is now. He can do it on his own right. He doesn't need their help, right. Because he's a very powerful, highly experienced shaman of like 30 years. So he knows what he's doing. He's very powerful, and he's got other, like most shamans, he has other spirits that help him, other different spirits who help him remove those sorts of things and help him heal people. But since he started talking to me a few years ago, the yowies started turning up when he was working, and now they often help him with his work.
All right, Yowie, I'm putting out a big SOS, my darling. So if you're listening, please come on over. Do they need to know my address?
My doula girl, no, they'll find you. My doula girlfriend, Dolly, is a beautiful person, and she needs some help. How about giving her a little bit of help?
Yeah.
We'll see if they can jump in. And my Junjadee friend, Dolly, needs some help.
Thank you.
Please send a couple down her way.
Please do. Please. I'll give you some. What do you want? Cake? What do you want? Marbles? I'll try for some marbles. I'm serious, Yowies. You got to help me out. I'm in over my head. I'm drowning.
Yeah.
You know, since I talked to you last, sweetheart, you've really gone down this rabbit hole, but you're a part of it now, and you're a part of the Yowie clan, and it's incredible. Really is.
The learning curve in the last couple of years has been steep.
You're really quite an advocate for them. It's beautiful. It really is. Yeah. It's gorgeous. You're so passionate about it. It's great.
For sure. Yeah.
But when I first chatted to you, you were just like, oh, yeah, Yowies, I'm interested in it, and it's an interesting topic. But now it's, wow, you've learned they've taught you so much.
They've taught me, and I'm a better person for it. Like I'm a better person.
And you've got a better neck.
That's the thing with them. I've got a better neck. That's the thing with them. They can read your mind, and they can see inside your heart. So you can't hide shit. You can't lie to them. You can't be an asshole. You've got to be the best person you can be if you want to have contact with them, because they're such high vibrational beings.
Okay.
We're low vibrational beings in general. if you've got any chance of connecting with them telepathically, you have to raise your vibration. You can't do it if you're feeling sad. You can't do it if you're not a good person.
Are you a good person? If you want to connect with a Yowie, you have to come back to Kyten Paranormal and listen to part 2 of my interview, because there is so much to digest, and I want you to go outside and howl to the Yowies, the little brownies, the big reds, the mamas, the papas, and then come back next week to listen to the rest of my interview with Sarah Bignall of Yowie Central. I know I'm drip feeding you, but she's worth waiting for. Oh, and go have a listen to her podcast now, as she has over 100 episodes to listen to. But before we go, I want you to have a little listen to an EVP I caught during my interview with Sarah of what potentially could be a little Yowie voice. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a little listen to the Yowie voice, and we'll see you next week.
Yowie is a bodyguard. Yowie is a bodyguard. Yowie is a bodyguard. Yowie is a bodyguard.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, and good night. Hello there. Would love to meet you in person. So here's the thing. Why don't you book a ticket at one of our paranormal investigations? I know. Crazy idea, right? But I really would love to meet you in person, and possibly that's the only way we're going to be able to do it, all right? So head on over to kytenparanormal.com.au. We have, about 10 venues scattered throughout Victoria, Australia, and possibly it's a really great way for us to all get together and for me to introduce you to the beautiful spirits that we talk about on our podcast. So do yourself a favour. Thanks so much. Bye.